Okay, so it's been quite some time. Where's the camera? Okay, it's been quite some time.
Maybe 4 years.
3, maybe 4 years of the last Swanky Paint video. Well, lots of things have happened and we have updated it quite a bit. And we are now at Swanky Paint Alpha Plus 11. Ooh. Right, well, we've got a new image. I've pixelized a pond by Francis McDonald, if you want to look up who it is. It's an Art Nouveau artist. And let's talk about some of the new stuff we have. Features. What do you have?
We've got a number that says plus 11. As you can see, it is covering the entire screen. Now, normally, when you do that, you're not in a very good position because we don't have very good undo, do we?
Oh no, this is terrible because you only have one undo. What are we going to do?
But this time, we've got lots
button
of undos.
mashing. So we've got lots of undos. Control Z, obviously. Control Z. Control Z. Control Y. Right. The usual undo buttons that you should be familiar with if you've used any sort of software to do stuff.
Yeah, and the U key still works more or less as it used to. So the U key sort of swaps between the last two states, and it also goes all the way to the end. So I don't know if you can see that scroll bar at the top right, but that's the number of undo states we have. So when it gets to the end, it toggles back and forth.
Yeah.
So the undo is currently using 6 kilobytes of memory. Because pixels are very tiny.
Very small.
So if you press U, it toggles between the last two once it gets there. And if you press Shift U, it goes back in time. So you can do Shift U to go back in time, U to go forward in time. And that works the same as like Control Z, Control Y.
Yeah. It's currently limited to 64 meg. Is that right? 64 meg of memory?
It's just because you're going to run out of memory.
It's just a limit.
So it's just like in case you need to stop it from... I mean, mostly it's so you can set it to something low and then you don't have history that goes back to the beginning of time if you don't want it. Because the important thing about this undo is that it saves with the file. So if you've done some drawing and then you save your file, then it remembers the undo. So you load the file in again and you can still go back in time and see how you drew the thing that you drew.
Yep. So this is not attached to the software or relative to any open images. Every image has an undo history.
Okay, you see that frame 3 there? So you see that's when I drew something, then I undid. So it's actually got branching undo. So if I was to just do Control Z, you'll never see that white bit. It jumps between 2, from 4 straight to 2, so it skips 3. But if you move the cursor, you can still get to the undos that you started drawing, then you undid, then you drew some more, then you undid, then you drew some. So all of those, even the stuff that you forgot about, is still in there. You just have to go there a special way.
So if you're familiar with, say, SVN version controls, and you should know what branches are. So if you branched off to a different variation of your drawings, we still keep the history in there with the image.
So these numbers, they just increment, so it's like going back in time. So even if you undo your undos, you still have a history, if that makes sense. Undo's quite complicated. I don't know if anyone knows that. Do people know that?
Well, you just assume it undoes what you just did. But on the plus side, this also remembers the undos of, say, image sizes.
Yeah, I think we've wired everything up, unless we've forgotten something drastic.
We need your help to figure out
make sure we haven't
forgotten something.
So if I can sort of remap to MSX, there you go. So that's like a completely different palette, but it's still in the undo buffer. Notice how it's jumping past all of those number ones.
It goes from 1 to 46, but if you scroll,
but they're still there
between them. It's still there.
You can still get to them.
Yeah.
But you can see that's like a complete color palette change and remap of the image. It's
So what you're doing is you're switching between states of then and now. But if you open the image history buffer, you can go through between states.
Commodore 64.
There you go.
Yeah. So that's undo. That's like quite...
The ultimate undo ever.
May have overdone the undoing. But yeah, so we now have like proper undo, which is nice.
Yeah.
I think it's nice.
I think it's great because I need to undo a lot.
The one more thing you can do is this save history as animated GIF.
Oh, yes.
So once you finish drawing, you can then export and you just choose a file and it saves, every single frame that you've drawn. So this would be like a 47 frame GIF.
Yeah.
So you export, it saves it as a GIF, and you can just, upload it to Twitter or whatever, and you've got an
animated GIF of your working.
Yeah, your working process.
Yeah.
That's it. That's your undo. And it's been so long since we updated that these Windows things are all new.
Oh, yes. The UI has gone through a massive overhaul in the structure and architecture and design. So things can move around. The headers of different colors, we've moved things around.
These are all scalable.
They are scalable, yes.
So they go big and small.
And if you look up on the UI on the top, again, you can see the different modes. So whenever you pick a different key, shortcut key, you can see the images change as well. So if you're in paint mode, color mode, or
so you can change those with F1, F2, F3.
Yeah.
And it also picks up a brush, magnify. No, not magnify. That one.
Fill.
So
yeah.
that picks
Pick
up. Fill. So whatever's going to happen when you click the button is now sort of shown up there. So you get some idea. You get a vague idea of what's going to be going wrong.
So you can see the current tool that you're using at the moment, so you know what's going on.
And that will turn into the mouse cursor at some point when I get that working.
Yeah. Yeah. So if you scroll to the left and you see the window, image, and brush, you can see everything's a little bit changed in the UI. Things are grouped in a more intuitive manner. Even the UI to the right under layers and images, if you go to the right there under images and layers, you can see toggle new layers, toggle new frames, add frame, delete frames.
So yeah, we've got new frames windows, new layers windows. So all of this stuff, the images now hide under images. So these things used to be buttons, but now they're buttons and menus.
Yeah, they're buttons and menus. So it's a little bit more useful, I think, because things are not all over the place. They're also kept within the column or within the groupings of what you hope them to be.
Yeah, so there's been this major overhaul of the interface. I think the one other thing it can do is if we go to preferences, we can change from dark to bright. So you've got the two magical interfaces that you can have. So you can have it in like bright mode or dark mode. Those are.
We might add like an editor so you can change the themes a little bit.
I think we definitely will because it's really easy to do. It's just, we've got an art package. You might as well be able to edit the themes in it.
Pretty much. So you can edit your own themes and make Swanky Paint look the way you want it to look, at least the UI, user interface anyways.
Yeah, so it's all becoming much more sort of like a real application. Before we didn't have windows. We just had like this area here that turned into different things, but now you can sort of do whatever you want. I think we should probably stop there because that's coming up to about 10 minutes. I don't want to do videos that are like too long.
Okay.
So this is basically just
part one
of
the video. And hang on there.
Okay.
Easy.
Yeah.
Easy.
I'm going to go get a cup of tea now and then we can think about part two.
Okay. We'll see you again next time. Bye-bye.